Hey, Slabs. It's been a while, hasn't it? Deja vu. I'm pretty sure I've said that before. Well, in this case, there's a different context. Because I haven't made a video in months, aside from the one I made prior to this, which was just a little ditty about how Crumb was voiced by Roland. But the purpose of this excursion, since I got my Inspirato back. Oh, and by the way, I battled Wu Flu Mark II for a time there. What does it have, like a 99.8% survival chance? So it's not like that's an accomplishment, I'm just saying. It was an annoyance. Let's say 3 weeks I was sick. And the 2 most annoying symptoms were loss of appetite and insomnia. But enough about that. Oh, this is really the focus here. The Vladov Vengeance and the fact that it's bugged in a way that works for you. Its effect is similar to Mordy's Trespass skill, in that its shots have a chance to bypass shields. But the bug is that it passes its effect onto all of your equipped weapons, but only once you start a game with the Vengeance equipped. Here's my loadout. This right here is the very first level 69 purple shield I've ever found or bought, and in the case of this one I think I bought it, that had perfect parts. In this case, 3 prongs on the left side, dog dish hubcap in the middle, soda can on the right side. That's how you can tell it's perfectly parted. Just a well-rounded grenade mod right there. This is a model 650. 5-line purple. 55 is the highest level for class mods. Heavy Gunner. A classic for Roland. The best is model 660, but I've compared a 650 Heavy Gunner class mod to a 660, and they both appeared to be exactly the same, with all these same numbers. 80, 3, 4, 3, 42. I've got a really good masher. Dahl with barrel 4. If this was an Anaconda, which always has barrel 4 because it's the barrel that makes it an Anaconda, this would really rock. Hyperion Cobra. This is going to be fun. Torgue Hunter's shotgun. I've got this with me mostly to regen shotgun ammo. I could have just brought a support gunner class mod to do that, but I try not to get in the too much anyway, in the habit of switching back and forth between class mods. If you're playing solo, that's fine. But if you're playing co-op and you use team-focused class mods that can unintentionally alter the way your buddies strategize or calculate logistics, because one moment they might have team health regen going on, and then you switch class mods and all of a sudden they don't. So it's kind of important to discuss those matters with the team and really try to figure out what's needed to accomplish the task at hand. Volcano, because if you have a volcano, why not use it? Same for Hellfire. This is the best equalizer I've ever found. It's a masher equalizer with barrel 5. Equalizer always has body 3. That's the part that makes it what it is. And this one has a mag 3 type of cylinder, which is not a mag but a cylinder. But it's just, the part is referred to that way. I always thought the 3-shot cylinder should be mag 4, because the 2-shot cylinder, the most powerful one, which is what this has, is Mag 5. Defiler, same principle as the other Malawan legendaries. If you have one, it begs to be used. A Wildcat. This is the first one I've ever found that I've ever liked because it has a twisted barrel and a twin shot accessory, which is the accessory is located back here, top of the receiver. So it sends out dual ricochet Helix bullets. It's the only one I've ever found like that. It's not the only SMG I've ever found that had that combination. The Twisted Barrel 3 combined with a twin shot accessory. In fact, I have a Torgue Bruiser in my collection that has that same barrel combined with that same accessory. I still need to test that out next to this. But still, a Wildcat that's actually good for a change. Stomper, my favorite type of combat rifle. Basically the masher of combat rifles, and Dahl makes the best ones. The Stomper is not made by Hyperion because, like the Double Anarchy, it's just not their style. It's only made by Dahl and Tediore, and Dahls are the best. And this has 3 out of 5 perfect parts. Barrel 4, most powerful, and 3rd most accurate. Generally regarded as the most desirable barrel to have on a combat rifle or machine gun. Body 5, stock 5, sight 2, chintzy skimpy 12-round mag. But Roland can override that with his mag boost skills. And class mods. So I've got that along with, which is it? I think Impact is the one that does that. No. Assault. I knew that Impact increased damage, but I was thinking that it also increased. I was getting the names of things mixed up. So. Oh. I have 2 different Maulers, and they're both blue 67s, and I just recently found this one. I found it in the red chest on TK Baja's porch right before I came here to the Iridian Promontory. Despite the stats, these are actually pretty close to evenly matched, and if you factor in mag capacity, I'd probably favor the S&S over the Torgue. I've never in my life found, but before this one here, which has lasted me a long time so far, I had never found a Mauler of any sort with barrel 5. This one has barrel 5, body 5, stock 2. This one has barrel 4, body 5, stock 2. Most accurate barrel on this one. 3rd most accurate, but also the most powerful barrel on this one. And this one's a Torgue, so it's naturally going to be more powerful than the closest comparable S&S. But at the same time, if they had all the exact same parts, the S&S would be more accurate and would have higher capacity. S&S stats tend to be more balanced than Torgue. And here we have Spiked Death. I love Death and Brute shotguns. The Death has an unlisted crit bonus, which makes me wonder if it's affected by Morty's Ranger class mod. That is Morty's Ranger class mod if it's if it has... See? Trespass. Basically. I put the death on because it's the most accurate. Look at that. I wonder if my melee attacks bypass shields. Ha! Normally, what I would use against these space bugs is an electric revolver, regardless of character, or an electric SMG. Now let's try this beastly bad boy. Not even a legendary, just an ordinary shotgun with really good parts, and it's a Torgue. And Torgue shotguns have two inherent strengths to them. One is damage. They're always going to deal an excellent amount of damage. Second only to Jacobs, I think. But aside from that, they always have good handling characteristics regardless of parts. So... Oops. Torgue shotguns generally will outperform Jacobs because of that. I always thought this part was reminiscent of Halo, because this is playthrough 2.5, that's why there are no Crimson Lance. Now let's try this. Normally, without Trespass or a Vengeance, my usual tactic will be to combine, ideally, an electric equalizer with a defiler. Otherwise, I would simply add another revolver to that collection, and it would be... not collection, but loadout. It would be an electric revolver with high accuracy. Mutilate your face, Jason Voorhees' mask face. Actually, it's more like it mutilates everything except their face. Their face falls off sometimes.
Nailed it.
Combat rifles now. During my Let's Play as Mordy, playthrough 1, just my regular playthrough, not an Allegiance run.
Alright, we got guns over here.
I use Trespass and a Dahl masher. I had a corrosive equalizer, so I didn't bother bringing a defiler. Although the defiler has more going for it than just being corrosive, because it also, I think, deals extra splash damage. Oh, by the way, you might have noticed this is OG Borderlands 1 and not enhanced. The reason for that is because there are certain changes they made with enhanced that to just make certain things feel less neatly organized, and I don't like that. The one weakness of the Stomper is slow bullets, which Lil can override that with her high velocity skill, which pairs well with Quicksilver. By the way, the most ultimate best Stomper, the most powerful type of combat rifle, would be a Dahl with the intense prefix indicating a crit bonus, and the following parts: barrel 4, body 5, stock 5, 18 round mag, material 3, which is this, the desert camo, and sight 2 or better, your choice. I like sight 2. This is sight 1, the worst sight. It has such a low amount of zoom, basically all it does is cut off your peripheral vision. If these were the same level and label color, they'd be a matching pair. 2 Torgues with barrel 5.
Haha! Nailed it!
Doesn't that just feel weird, Roland with Trespass?
Never have a
Frivolous tactical reload, but remember, the use key will cause you to automatically reload sometimes. Notice that Hyperion sniper rifle called Lance. If it has the Crimson material type and prefix, it'll have the Crimson prefix and will be called a Hyperion Crimson Lance. I came back here to fight these things here on playthrough 2, just for, I guess just to increase my proficiencies with certain weapons. And I did my usual thing, using an electric revolver. A really good one. Malawan Viper. Which is like one of the best non-legendary, non-masher revolver types. Keep that in mind. Viper. Ah, we got a mortar launcher. And it was a rough go. I mean, it was... It was effective, it's just because this is playthrough 2.5, it was noticeably tougher than it is on playthroughs 1 or 2. On playthroughs 1 or 2, If you have an electric revolver or high accuracy SMG for dealing with the space bugs, and if not a pestilent defiler, a corrosive revolver or high accuracy SMG for dealing with the Crimson Lance. Where are you? I see the red dot. I think I would favor this over the Torgue, despite the stats, simply because of the capacity. I have a Commando class mod back in my Underdome lobby collection. It's a really good one too. It's a Jacobs. It's also made by S&S, like the one you saw there. Keep that in mind if you're doing an allegiance run.
Always room for more loot.
I was hoping that would be a plague. I have a bulldog, and it's a carnage. The Malawan plague is called it says crux on its item card, but it's supposed to be plague because S&S makes the crux. I have a Serpens, but I don't really like it because of the serpentine bullets. Some of those pearlescents have special effects that are a little too special for my taste. I mean, I'll still use them, but well, let's get some use out of this. I guess I'll put that right there. Some of them. Others are great for general all-around use. But notice I don't have any pearlescence on me right now because I'm replaying parts of the core game, and they would be game killers, even on playthrough 2.5. So that's why I'm only using stuff that you find during the core game. This is still a close-range weapon, despite the fact that it has, well, Twisted Barrel 3 is, well, how does that really affect accuracy? Obviously, this is... Dropped something, didn't see what label color it was. Best scope, worst barrel. Barrel 2 and sight 5. Which means the scope doesn't match the barrel, the zoom doesn't match the accuracy. The Surkov always has barrel 2. because that's the part that defines it. So you never need anything better than sight 3 on a circle. That's what I like to see. Ricochet action going on. Now, it's not exactly reliable on these skinny boys, but this will be. See? I could have just used nothing but this. Torgue Hunter shotgun. It has my favorite cylinder type, Mag 4. I like that the best because it has the best possible combination of power and capacity. I don't like 2-shooters because I just don't like the idea of a gun with a revolving cylinder only having 2 chambers. Blah, skeet. Skeet shooting space bugs. 2 more of yous. But if you're going to stay hidden, I'm going to ignore yous. One more. Iron sights are all you need on a shotgun. I hate scopes on shotguns. Reflex sights I can tolerate. But the shotgun reflex sight in this game is lame. It's like a dot sight, but with no dot. And you have to force yourself to get accustomed to where you're supposed to aim with it. Plus it has a slight amount of zoom. And in my opinion, you don't need zoom with iron sights or reflex sights in FPS games. If it's a little bit, that's okay. Because if it's just a little bit, just a tad, that's meant to, I guess, signify your eyes focusing on target. The Stalker games have that, just a little bit. But most mods remove that, and I found that it works just fine either way. What matters is that the iron sights line up right, like this. Rather than how this trope, this fad, that plagues so many FPS games where you aim over the rear sight. In some cases, the front sight lines up with your target, but you aim over the rear sight. In other cases, you aim entirely over both sights. And in some cases, you have ADS combined with an on-screen crosshair that stays there even while you're aiming down sights. Now, what's the purpose of that? In Borderlands 1 Enhanced, there are red chests here. Well, I could say this successfully concludes my test of the Vladof Vengeance and its beneficial bug effect. But I kind of want to keep going. I guess I could go beat up on Bonehead. He has kind of a strong shield. Keep in mind, I'm trying to stick with the core game here, not the DLC. Oh. I could go beat up on Baron Flint. He has a strong shield. Oh, what am I in the mood for? What kind of action? And I could go down in that mine. There are more space bugs down there in the Dahl headland. Yeah, sure, why not? Along the way, I'll surely encounter bandits with shields. By the way, when I think space bugs, I immediately hear the Invader Zim theme in my head. By the way, if you were co-oping with me, I'd hazard an educated guess that you probably don't like burst fire weapons. And if that's the case, give them to me. If they have good parts, I'll make use of them. If I was playing as Brick, that would be pretty good. Oh, notice this glitch. I probably have like $87 bazillion, and I think that's why this has started to happen. But if I sell something, it interrupt me while I'm shopping. Jerk off.
Tech plus ammo capacity equals I win.
Really good parts on this. Barrel 5, not sure what body. Sight 2, and I think that's stock 2. Well, those aren't really good parts, but they're good enough. Still, with 98.4 accuracy, you're going to want sight 4 or sight 5. But I don't need an ordinary sniper rifle. I'm only interested in... Oh, I've got a volcano. I'd like to get a Torgue Cobra. By the way, the name Cobra refers to, or rather can refer to, the Torgue Cobra, which is a sniper rifle, or more technically, an anti-material rifle. Or it can refer to a type of combat rifle.
I'll TC the vehicle.
Unlike the Stomper, it's made by the 3 companies that make combat rifles: Hyperion, Dahl, and Tediore.
Cheap, reliable, lightweight, and incredibly fast reload speeds. Tediore makes an easy-to-use
That one's more powerful than my death.
Armament team.
Meh. Oof. yeah, I'll use the twisty Wildcat some more. Oh, it's not impressing me at all. But I really think it would. Again with you. Oh. That's what they do. Busy fighting other enemies or shopping or whatever. Those psychos come up behind you or to your side. They flank you. Or attack from behind. Grenade, what a good idea. See if it actually works. Really? Notice how I have that skill where roll and regain some health when you kill an enemy.
Another notch on my whip.
So in this game, I think the types of weapons that are best for scoring easy second wins are elemental, any sort of full auto elemental guns. The Hellfire being the best, aside from the Tsunami. Pearl Essence can only be found on the general, the Secret Armory of General Knox.
Always nice to get resupplied.
I'll put that back on. Might seem redundant to use a masher alongside a shotgun, and under most circumstances it would be, unless they have drastically different accuracy. Like if you were to pair what's a good example? Let's say a masher with barrel 5 up with a matador. Both Jacobs, let's say. Not even legendaries, either of them. Let's say they're level 69 purples with all the best parts. They both have... let's say the masher has barrel 5 and the matador has barrel 4. And by the way, I've only ever seen barrel 4 on Jacob's matadors. The matador is a type of shotgun that's intended for close range. They're extra powerful and they unleash 12 pellets, which is realistic. That's the equivalent to 12 gauge magnum. 12 gauge Magnum double-aught buck, to be precise. 9 would be the equivalent of standard 12 gauge double-aught buck. 7 is a prime number. So you would never encounter a shotgun shell that contains 7 pellets. For exactly that reason, because it's a prime number. You would end up with one stray pellet at the end. Ugh. Why did that have to happen? I knew I should have hopped, jumped up in the air.
Oh yeah, that was all me.
I was expecting it to. I was expecting Roland to toss it out in front of this box here, but no. What was I talking about before that? I don't even remember.
Nailed it.
Oh, and if I find weapons, I'm only interested in level 67 or better. If it's a 66, it's not good enough. Even if it's a legendary. Maybe I'll get some more use out of a stomper. This matches my masher. Even though I hate Sight 1. Why did it have to have Sight 1? Still though,
I love this damn thing.
3/5 perfectly parted. How often does that happen?
Jacob's guns do one thing really well. Power. And honestly, what else do you need?
Now, what to use on these cave-dwelling space bugs? It's better to be spoiled for choice than to not have choices. Oh. You got matching sets of Dahls, matching sets of Hyperions, matching sets of Torgues. Not a full set, but you have at least two. And they have comparable barrel types, regardless of what weapon types we're talking about. Should be one more. Yeah.
Up in the kill cat. armaments here.
I have an ongoing Tediore Allegiance run as Mordy. I haven't done anything with it in a while. I think I have all of these maxed out. Yeah. Level 44 is the highest, and it goes up to level 6.
Atlas spares no expense in making guns that excel in every area.
I could stick with either of these maulers and I'd be fine with either one. Do I keep the S&S because I've got the S&S logo going on there? Or do I keep the Torgue because it matches this very excellent hunter's shotgun? I guess I'll just have to keep them both until they're both outmoded, since they're both blue 67s. By the way, when I use S&S together with Hyperion, I call it my ketchup and mustard combo because of the color schemes. Ketchup red, Hyperion, mustard yellow, S&S. And when I use Torgue together with Atlas, I call it my salt and pepper combo. Pepper black Torgue, salt white Atlas. Oh, it's a 66. I wouldn't buy it anyway because it has barrel 1. If this was a level 67 at least, and it had barrel 3, 4, or 5, I'd buy it. Doggone it! Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But these guys don't usually come in here twice. Put my more powerful shotgun on there. That pairs well with the Stomper. Because power. And Masher too. Torgue and Dahl just seem to work well together in Borderlands 1. For that reason. In Borderlands 2, because companies can share parts with each other on common aftermarket guns. There's a perk. You'll find that certain brands have high synergy with other brands, and a good example of that is Torgue and Jacobs. They have high synergy with each other. And Hyperion pistols and SMGs in Borderlands 2 have high synergy with Dahl barrels. around like that, you spastic little monkey. I like shotguns that have good effective range. Screw the Doom 3 shotgun. Let's see what this is. It's a perk, but it's a 66. Of course, I don't expect the shotgun to have the same effective range as a sniper. But there's a difference between what most people consider to be a sniper distance in a video game versus sniper distance IRL. In real life, you're actually expected to be able to score shots with basic iron sights using an intermediate caliber rifle at much longer ranges than in video games.
Nailed it.
I'll admit that took more shots than I expected it to. Of course, I'm not forgetting about that red chest. There it is. Oh, and I also have a Torgue double anarchy.
Always room for more loot.
Eh. Four greens, at least it wasn't two whites. I hate it when I find two whites in a red chest. I opened this one up here, didn't I? Yes.
Iron Atlas, and you too can see what it feels like to hold the power of the gods in your hands.
Yeah. Pounders most certainly do not make good elementals. They would if they procced per shot, but they don't.
First aid kit. You won't regret. The Crimson Lance got nothing on my weapons.
That would make them purposeful, though. By the way, if you ever find an elemental carnage, try it out. Because they proc per shot. And they can have any element. Unless they're made by Jacobs. I have a Mordy with an electric carnage. Of course, that would be a shield breaker weapon, and on Mordy it's not very useful because he has Trespass. He doesn't need an electric weapon. How much time is left?
You don't need to be a better shot. You just need to shoot more bullets.
Watch what I'm going to do. Oh, yeah. I can't afford that because it's blitzed out. I actually can, obviously. I have $87 bazillion. I need to scrounge up something else to sell to get my money back to normal. Well, that shouldn't be too terribly difficult. Oh, don't know why I chose Jacob's Cove. Maybe so I would have an excuse to reference Lucio Fulci's Zombie.
Employees have been embracing weapons not manufactured by the Jacobs Corporation with elemental modifications.
With the phrase, "The boat can leave now. Tell the crew." That's one of my favorite zombie movies, by the way. They don't make them like that anymore. I know zombie movies are, and zombie lore in general is old hat by this point. Everyone knows clowns are the real terror vision. Oh, I was hoping I'd get here before the change.
If you're on a budget, Tediore is your grenades and ways that just explode. Customize your grenades with a new mod today.
All right, we got guns over here.
Yeah. One gun and one class mod. I'd like to get a perfectly parted purple panacea, level 69. I'd accept a 68, possibly even a 67. The highest level panaceas I've found so far on playthrough 2.5 are level 66. I passed them up. Well, they were blue anyway. I want purple. I want the best. Just like Marcus says, only buy the best. No, you don't always carry the best, Marcus. I've seen your vending machines filled entirely with whites. Even in the item of the day slot. Look at that. Oh. The boat can leave now. Tell the crew. I should be holding a revolver when I say that. The boat can leave now. Tell the crew. There. That was more authentic. Only I just said the line plainly. I didn't say it with any emotion like the actor does.
Brought to the executive leadership of the Jacobs Corporation that certain anti-Jacobs propaganda has been circulating, proclaiming
I know I don't need to buy ammo when I have multiple means of ammo regen.
97% of the workforce. We would like to remind the surviving 3%
But I did
that
anyway.
we are not a taxi service.
The Jacobs
And for
claptrap
this
is the
material
coolest looking
will result in a
claptrap.
write-up with HR.
I'll show off what's in my Underdoom collection.
Atlas spares no expense.
Oh, this would be a good backup weapon for Brick
Every area.
if you're doing Blastmaster.
Step right up. This price is available on all weapons. Who needs a real doctor when they got my machines in there scary needles?
Now, I never did fire off the Vengeance itself. I guess it's just a regular machine pistol. I think it's the barrel that defines it. I think it always has barrel 5. And since a machine pistol is a repeater with body 5, that means the Vengeance is always perfectly parted. And I'm pretty sure it can have any accessory. This one has a stabilizer. 17 round mag, that's pretty skimpy. But Mordy and Roland both can boost that capacity. Here I have some Pearlescence, Tsunami, Undertaker, Jackal. The Jackal didn't impress me as much as I had hoped it would. It functions like a grenade launcher, but it's not powerful enough, despite the numeric damage rating. Now, I always thought the Carnage should have functioned like the Jackal, being a relatively common type of gun that you find in the game. The Carnage is a shotgun that shoots rockets, but always does so inaccurately. And that's what irritates me about it. So, the Jackal, I like the fact that it's indirect fire, functions like a grenade launcher, but I don't like its lack of power. The Carnage, I don't like its lack of accuracy. Serpents, relatively slow-moving serpentine bullets. I don't like that. Everything else about it I do like. This one has barrel 5, body 5, stock 5, sight 1. That's the only thing holding it back. It would be better off with just plain old iron sights. Machine guns can have either sight 1 or sight 2. But sight 1 just, it sucks. Such a small amount of zoom that all it does is cut off your peripheral vision. I know I say that all the time, but that irritates me. Avenger, it's an intense Avenger, so that means it has crit damage, crit bonus. This is it's basically a pearlescent pounder with a 26 round base capacity instead of 6. And of course the Bessie, this one has the double Z prefix. Double X is the best. Double X is a reference to Remington. Double Stalker. Compare this up with the Vengeance. This doesn't need a scope. It has barrel 5, and yet the accuracy is 56.7. I would expect better on a Jacobs shotgun, striker or otherwise, with barrel 5. I've seen Jacobs Hunter's shotguns that have much better accuracy than that. But fire rate 0.9, that's not bad for a Jake. The Butcher, you definitely want ammo regen with this, at least shotgun ammo regen, so pair it up with the, what's it called, the Tediore Defender. If you're playing as a character who doesn't have general ammo regen or shotgun ammo regen. This thing actually did get results. The problem with it is it fires a 5-round burst and yet has a 7-round mag. I'm pretty sure it can have either a 5 or 7-round mag. That's just incompetent. It should have, if it's going to fire a 5-round burst, and its method of use is you can only fire 2 bursts in a regular mag, then it should at least hold 10, right? That's logical, right? That's prior to boosting the mag capacity. Roland could, with what I've got now, 7 rounds, 5 rounds is boosted to 9. And 6 is boosted to 10. So 7 would be boosted to, well, let's find out. Butcher, put that there. 12. Still, I consider it a special purpose. A lot of these are special purpose niche guns. Tsunami is good for general use. Undertaker is good for general use. Jackal, I like grenade launchers, but it's just not powerful enough. Still, I wouldn't classify it as a niche weapon. It could be used for general use, I guess. Serpens, Skates to the Edge. It's kind of niche, thanks to those serpentine bullets. I have 2 defilers, a 2-shooter and a 6-shooter. Despite the stats, I prefer the 6-shooter. With the stuff I've got on Roland currently, I can boost 2 rounds to 3 and 6 rounds to 10. And I think this is perfectly parted, but still, I want more rounds than that. I don't prioritize base damage with an elemental, so I'd rather have capacity. Crux, niche. All the Tediore Legendaries are useful for ammo regen if you're not using a class mod with ammo regen. The Gemini, niche, I guess. I don't like it. Thanatos, good for general use, especially if it's an elemental. The Gasher is a burst fire SMG. I might have to do a video about burst fire weapons. And I don't really need a corrosive anaconda, since I've got 2 defilers. But I found it instead of bought it, so I kept it as sort of a trophy. Just like the Redemption, I don't really need that. Some of these I just like having. The Destroyer is not my style. Firehawk's good. 0.7, terrible fire rate, a very ordinary Unforgiven. Just because it's an Unforgiven doesn't mean it's going to be exceptional. Electric Rhino. Carnage version of Bulldog with a blade spike attachment. Legendary Iridian weapons, which still aren't very impressive. I need to get the Glob one. The Glob one's kind of fun because it's an indirect fire weapon, and if you're one of my regulars, you probably already know that I like indirect fire weapons. Crom's Sidearm, that's level 67 seems to be the highest I can get with this. Bone Shredder 67. Before I got the Vengeance, this was my shield breaker of choice, and it's all the best parts, well, except maybe the cylinder. I think there's another, I think this is Mag 2, then there's Mag 4, which is 3 of the 5 cylinder types for revolvers are 6 shot, but they all offer different presence or absence of a bonus. Like the plain basic one offers no damage bonus, and then there's one better than that which offers a little bit more, and then there's one better than that which offers significantly more. I need to see how this double bruiser with a twisted barrel compares to the Wildcat in actual use. And I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if it surpassed the Wildcat in every conceivable way. I see the clipper, I got a 68. The highest level clipper I've gotten. I went out and I collected these nostalgia guns, I guess. I don't really need them. I could sell them and I wouldn't be any worse off. This thing I'm keeping around because it's the only type of Iridian weapon I like. 67 is the highest level of that I've gotten so far. This is basically an Iridian shotgun. So it's like an electric shotgun that actually procs per shot. Oh, and here's my collection of class mods. 660, 660, 660, yeah. These are all 660s, and here's a 650. Yeah. Yes, I know, shock trooper, nobody actually uses that. Well, some people might, occasionally. Usually for the sake of experimentation, and that's pretty much why I have it. Tactician, one of my most used class mods, made by Anshin and Malawan. Shock Trooper, also made by Anshin and Malawan. Commando, made by Jacobs and S&S. Depending on material type, the last line will give you either increased shotgun damage or shotgun ammo regen. I've got two different heavy gunner class mods, a 660 Dahl and a 650 Torgue. And notice 4/5, they're both 4/5 the same, but the final effect, fire rate versus weapon damage. How do you choose, right? It's all good, so why not have one of each? But I'm running out of space here, so I am going to have to start selling some of this stuff. And then, of course, the obligatory support gunner class mod, made by S&S and Vladov. The last line, depending on material type, will either boost team accuracy or team mag size. And then I have different grenade mods for different situations. Originally, I just had Bouncing Betty in all 4 flavors, and then I thought, well, I don't really need the standard explodey, and I don't need the electric now that I have a Vladov. I mean, Vengeance. Vladov Vengeance. But I kind of like the Bouncing Betty and the Merv just the same. I like them both. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to have to start selling some of these to make room for more better ones. One of you has got to go, as Sal would say. Well, I think I accomplished what I set out to accomplish. So I'ma call it. Catch you on the flip side, and see you next mission, slaboids.